All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors the harmless phantoms in their errands glide, with feet that make no sound upon the floors. We meet them at the doorway, on the stair, along the passages they come and go, impalpable impressions on the air, a sense of something moving to and fro. There are more ghosts at table than hosts. Invited, the illuminated hall is thronged with quiet, inoffensive ghosts, as silent as the pictures on the wall. The stranger at my fireside cannot see the forms I see, nor hear the sounds I hear. He but perceives what is, while unto me all that has been is visible and clear. We have no title deeds to house or lands. Owners and occupants of earlier dates, from graves forgotten, stretch their dusty hands, and hold in mortmain still their old estates. The spirit world around this world of sense floats like an atmosphere, and everywhere wafts these earthly mists and vapors dense, a vital breath of more ethereal air. Our little lives are kept in equipoise by opposite attractions and desires. The struggle of the instinct that enjoys, and the more noble instinct that aspires. These perturbations, this perpetual jar, of earthly wants and aspirations high, come from the influence of an unseen star, an undiscovered planet in our sky. And as the moon from some dark gate of cloud throws o'er the sea a floating bridge of light, across whose trembling planks our fancies crowd into the realm of mystery and night. So from the world of spirits there descends a bridge of light connecting it with this, for whose unsteady floor that sways and bends wander our thoughts above the dark abyss. Haunted Houses by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Welcome, this is Remnants, and we are your hosts. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Emily.
And Emily just read us a spooky poem. Get us in
I did.
the spooky feels.
I did. Are we spooky feeling now? I don't know.
I don't know if we are. It's awfully bright right now outside.
It
It's
is.
not very spooky.
Spooky poetry reading at noon on a Sunday. It's so spooky.
It's so spooky. But you know what is spooky is a haunted castle. Which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri.
Yes. I don't know. It might be... No, I guess it's not Missouri's only castle, but...
It's one of the few.
Well, it's still got its roof and windows.
Yeah, because there have been a few other ones like, what, Haha Tonka? But that's just like some stones.
Yeah.
And it's cool looking, but definitely no roof.
Nope.
I do want to, before we start recording, I wanted to point out we have a cool new recording setup.
Yes.
And I wanted to thank my dad, because...
Thank you, Emily's
Yeah,
dad.
he spoiled the podcast.
He is.
Yeah. Now we look like we have literally 3 different microphones just sitting on my desk.
Pretty much every episode has been recorded with a different mic almost.
It has been.
But we feel, and this one gave us some trouble, but we got it going. Well, really, Emily got it going, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm really happy too. Like, I feel super professional now.
I do. I feel like we're
it
getting legit. This is episode 5.
Wow, episode 5. I just saw, I think it was, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, it was officially 1 year since we'd been to the Sally house for the first time.
Yeah,
So.
Look how far we've come in a year.
We finally launched this podcast.
Yeah. I know it's funny, like thinking back then, we thought, oh, maybe we'd launch by summer or something, but really, we've gone through some different phases of what we wanted to do.
We have, yeah. We've got to go on another investigation here soon.
I know, we have like a list, and so we just got to figure out, and especially now that we're going into winter.
Yeah.
We probably don't want to do some outdoor ones.
No. Like today, I opened my door because like it's a warm day outside and it's 40 degrees.
Yeah.
It's already started. It's summer.
It's summer. Got my shorts on.
I do. I don't need a jacket.
Although, in some ways, winter would be less buggy. Like, maybe we should have gone to the Lone Jack battlefield. Probably not in the dead of
It'd be
summer.
quieter, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you just hear me shivering and going, fuck, it's cold. I hate this. I don't do cold well. But we'd hear more.
Yeah.
But then also, sound carries more in the winter, so I feel like we might pick up more, like, contamination. Potentially?
Yeah, that'll be some interesting, I don't know, maybe discussion points as we do other investigations now that we're going into winter. But Pythian Castle.
Pythian Castle.
Yeah, Springfield is like 3 hours south of Kansas City, so it's in southern Missouri. And it was originally known as the Pythian Home of Missouri.
Oh.
And was built in 1913 by the Knights of Pythias, which they were an all-white fraternal organization. So take that.
Usually when you start something with all-white fraternal organization, it only goes
in the
downhill
South.
from there. Yeah, like, there's no way that was good.
Which actually we'll get into some of their... Here, well... I'm getting ahead of myself, but so the castle is 40,000 square feet, and it was built as a meeting hall for the order and a retirement home for needy members and their widows and children. But this is where it kind of gets like weird. Okay. So the boys and girls were kept completely separate and were forbidden to interact at all, like even if they were siblings, which just seems really cruel. And like they're kids, like I don't know. I guess I could understand you want to keep teenagers separately, but like why would you separate like 6-year-old siblings or something? Like
like what was the thought process behind that? And just like it's like the what is it? Was it the Mean Girls scene? Like the sex ed class, like. It's very much, if you have sex, you'll die mindset. And like, if we never let boys and girls see each other ever, then they'll live forever. And then they'll go to heaven and everything will be perfect. Yeah. And then humanity will end and everything will be nice and calm again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all will be well in the world. There'll be no consequences from that.
Yeah, just a little bit of Sunday morning nihilism. That's how I like to start my day.
Who needs church?
Yeah. Everything sucks.
But, I don't know. They kind of give off some cult vibes, the Knights of Pythias. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I don't really... There's not a ton of information about them, and I don't really know how long they even lasted, so... But...
I mean... not that long, unless they're still creeping around somewhere, just like... separating boys and girls.
Yeah, because 1913, I mean, that's like 100 years, I mean, a little more than 100 years ago, but really, they probably were kind of disbanded because before then, or at least they were kicked out of their castle in 1942, because during World War II, the United States military just commandeered the castle. Like the Middle Ages, like, we're taking it over.
This is ours. I kind of hope when they were like, looking for places to take, they're like, what about that weird cast? I'm like, oh my god, yeah, those freaking Knights of the Pythias.
They've been on our watch list for a while.
Yeah, like, let's just kick them out. We don't actually even need this, but let's mess with them.
Yeah. Well, it is crazy to think about. So the military, you know, they got it for rehabilitating injured U.S. soldiers and kind of for entertaining them, but they also used it for prisoners of war. And I guess I just never thought about Springfield, Missouri. I mean, it is like in the heart of the Midwest, really. Mm-hmm. Like, that seems like a long way to bring German and Italian prisoners.
Well, they had there was one in Liberty, Missouri, too. That because I didn't really think of that as a thing until I heard about Liberties, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess
even if they escape, they're not going to go back to their home country because you freaking brought them across the ocean and then several 1,000 miles into the middle of the...
Yeah. Like, here, from these... Good luck getting out. Like, the prison is the Midwest.
Yeah. We're definitely landlocked.
We don't need walls. No. We have miles of fields.
Yeah, good luck.
And I don't know what else.
Yeah.
Bugs. Yeah.
Oh, bugs,
Fields and bugs and tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly. But so during when the military took it over, they kind of, I don't know, revamped the castle. There was a theater where they also held funerals. There was a ballroom, a bowling alley, a pool hall, library, and arts and crafts room.
What kind of arts and crafts did recovering soldiers do?
I know, it seems, especially for back then, like it seems such like a female thing, which I don't know, that sounds...
No, it's very gentle and
maybe just gentle is the better way to say that.
Like, I'm picturing them doing like kindergarten style crafts where they're like, get your hand in the paint and stick it down, and then you'll color it little turkey colors.
and glue some feathers on there.
Like with popsicle sticks, and they make Santa
And they got
Claus
those like pipe cleaners.
Yeah. They're all just sitting like
braiding friendship bracelets.
Oh, that's so nice.
I know they probably were like painting, I guess. That's probably what was happening. But when I think of arts and crafts, I just go to like elementary school.
I do too.
And just like think of that kind of stuff.
Lots of popsicle sticks in my mind.
Yeah. but several famous movie stars and comedians, performed in the theater and ballroom to entertain the troops. So that's kind of cool.
We were there.
Yeah. That's right. There's still famous people walking those halls.
It's been a while, though. It's been a few months, so.
And on the tour, they talked about, they opened it up to the public, like, to come in, and they could watch movies there and stuff. So I guess it was probably good for the town of Springfield. I don't know.
Just like, let's go hang out with those recovering dudes who do arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Great. There are prisoners underneath. Don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah. Speaking. So it was mostly German and Italian prisoners, but there was also a Japanese prisoner.
Yeah.
Because you can still see his... I might be getting ahead of what you want to talk about.
Good.
But, there you can still see his paintings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a much smaller cell, because we went, and part of the tour you go through the basement area where they do have those cells, and they're all like the doors are removed and everything. It's just these big empty spaces with like weird stains on the walls. It kind of like, it almost made me think like, were there like manacles attached to these at some point? That's what it looked like to me, which is probably just...
Don't think about it too much.
But anyways, the Japanese soldier's cell was just this much smaller one, and he was homesick, so they gave him some paints because he was an artist, and he just painted just like coastal scenes. It was really cool, but also really sad, and it kind of put into perspective what that place was used as, and and it was made worse by the fact that they had set the whole area up very like gimmicky, like with Halloween decorations and like statues of gargoyles and
it was a good tour, but it was definitely interesting.
It was good. They're definitely leaning, which I guess they do history tours in the day though, don't they?
Right.
We were specifically on the ghost tour, so obviously that's what we're focusing on. Duh, Emily. Yeah. Like, they just didn't seem to care about the history. What's that about?
How rude.
And then it just slowly came back to me what we were doing.
But yeah, there's the cells they're most of them, aside from like that one, and then a couple in the back that didn't have windows, which those would have had to be like really claustrophobic and smelly. But
when we say windows though, like, isn't it a super tiny window, like several feet above the ground?
They were pretty high up, but I think they were decent sized, had bars on them and stuff. But so there was kind of just these big open rooms, and Lord knows how many people they shoved in those cells. But I don't know, it was a really interesting place.
Yeah.
The basement was pretty cavernous, which was interesting.
It was, it's a really big, really open space. Like, we kind of talked about this. It probably wasn't actually as open when it was being used as a prison. It felt more open because all the doors, I think they'd been removed. I couldn't tell if they were removed or they were open.
I think they were just open.
They're all open. So yeah, it was pretty open. And then there's like one section back there that's literally just, it feels like a maze. And maybe they did that a little bit more on purpose because they've been using it as an escape room.
Yeah.
It's big too. Like, it's massive. Mm-hmm. Which I guess makes you realize how big Pythian Castle is, because it's kind of, when you're on the top floor, it's hard to fully grasp how large that space is.
Right. And it is kind of the floor plan is interesting because it's mostly just big rooms.
Right. And
it's not a lot of little rooms.
They're big rooms, and then you forget that part of the castle is sectioned off for the people that are living there actively. Like, there's a family living as their house.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So, yeah, the military still owned it up until 1993. And then in 2010 is when the current owners bought it. And, yeah, they live there. So,
Which is insane to me.
yeah.
Like, they literally own the Haunted Mansion, is what it feels like.
It really did feel like the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Like, when we... So it's like, as we're driving, to Springfield, and I'm like, I've been on some tours like this before, and I'm like, oh, gotta be like max 20 people on this tour.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it can't be that big.
You think. And then we're
And
like,
we're like, so then we get there, and we're like waiting in the entryway, and like people just keep coming and coming and coming. And I'm like, Emily and I are like, oh my God, how many people? Like, it was the thing to do in Springfield that night.
yeah, literally there were a bunch of locals there because they were like, oh, hey, you're here. What's up? And I'm
Right.
like, oh, well, of course we're all getting together. Let's just do this. Go to do the Springfield Pythian Castle tour. Why
Yeah.
not?
There had to be like 75
There were
people.
so many people. And I feel like that was like one of the first things we did kind of like post the really heavy part of the pandemic. So we're like,
Yeah.
"Ugh,
Oh, yeah. We were like, oh,
people,
yeah. They were like, don't touch me.
please go away. I thought a ghost tour would be safe.
Right. I thought like, how many people want to do this on a Saturday night?
Guess we're not as unique as we thought.
Right. But actually, it's kind of interesting too. Like, in the entryway, they have like, there were so many people around, we didn't really look too closely at them, but they have like the death certificates out
Yeah.
for the people that have passed away there.
It's like a legit binder, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I actually realized that's what that was when we were there, because like you said, there's so many people. I was like, I'm not gonna go look at that.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people died there.
A couple suicides too, and like really graphic ones or violent suicides. Yeah, like on January 26, 1940, a man shot himself in the head. And then there was also one on February 28th, 1942, where a man cut his own throat. So, I don't know. I think the rest of the deaths there were, like, not so gruesome. It's more natural from when it was probably a home for the elderly during the Nights of Pythias.
Yeah.
But maybe some of the soldiers, too. But like I said, we didn't really get to view the death certificates too closely, so...
Yeah, that's something I'd like to, like, go back during a slower time and do that and, like, actually look at things.
We want to go back because you can book like private investigations, so that is high on our list.
Oh yeah, because that place would be so cool to go back to.
Yes. So we kind of did, I guess, dipped our toes in just the like, little couple hour ghost tour.
The fun experience of having a ghost tour with many people, just not super conducive to what you're trying to do, which is listen to a really dark, old, quiet place.
Yeah, I know. I thought we could maybe try to get something, an EVP or something, and when I saw oh no, the whole town is here with us, we're not going to be able to.
Just
it's contamination.
It's really just not possible to get an entire room of adults to be quiet. You'd think at some point people would be able to follow instructions, but no, even breathing is loud.
Right.
Or you get people just...
Yep.
What's that? Is that a ghost? I'm no, that was the guy next to me.
Well, that's one of the things, there's a steam tunnel in the basement too, and, they took us down there, we got to walk all the way to the end, and, we kind of did a little mini, the tour guide, she was like, if something's here, knock on the walls and stuff, and it's I filmed it, recorded it, and you hear this kind of ominous sounding breath next to me. It was 90% was probably just the guy standing next to me breathing.
I know, I was like,
but I'm like,
scary.
Yeah, I'll never know. Maybe it was a ghost trying to say something.
And we're just like, no way. That's just that guy. It's like that all night.
Yeah, so. But we did visually capture something.
We sure did. Since Kayla has a spidey sense for knowing when she should be filming or recording, which is honestly just always, but she happens to get things, so there's something going on there, I guess. We were walking down a set of stairs, and she just was like, "Oh, I'm gonna film."
Yeah, it was just really random. I don't know why I chose to like film us leaving the theater and walking down the stairs.
Yeah, so we get something on that, and I'm not gonna say right now because I want everyone, if you're able to do so, to stop listening and go to our Instagram to go watch this video. We'll have a few different versions because it's a very quick thing. So we'll have the regular version, and then we'll have kind of a slowed down, and then the final thing will just be kind of like a couple pictures.
Some screenshots.
Yeah, some screenshots. So just go take a look at that, and then
come back.
Yeah, come back, form your own opinion. We'd love if you commented on what you saw or don't see. Like if you think we're just stupid and we're not seeing anything, you can say that. That's fine. Maybe don't say it that way, but like just let us know what you think, and then unpause us. My cat's meowing. Pretty sure you can hear that because I can hear it.
We no longer have the geese, but now we have cats.
Yeah, she's extremely needy. I've got one cat that's just quietly sleeping behind us, and the other one's just like, let me in! Anyway, so pause, unpause. Here we are. So what did we see?
So it's as you're kind of approaching the landing, there's this kind of figure in the, like a mist figure that like kind of appears and then kind of walks.
And it does, like, when we say appear, like, it looks like it is stepping out of the wall because it appears and then it seems to not necessarily solidify, but it takes, like, shape more. Like, I feel like I could see a head and, like, shoulders kind of. So, yeah, it does. To me, it looks very clearly like a figure. Like, head, shoulders. It's taller than the person walking in front of us. It almost seems to walk through them. And that person, I believe we learned, was a tour guide.
Yeah, because our group, they were like, this is the second largest group we've ever had. And it's like, great. So I think they had the tour guide that was speaking. And then I think they had another one with the group because this woman was always like standing by the doorway. And I'm like, okay. And she had like she just seemed like she was staff. And it kind of appears when she's walking by. And
they'd mentioned earlier that a lot of the spirits seem to attach to people that are there more frequently, like the staff and people that work there. So like,
that makes
somebody's just like, ooh, I'm walking through.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I find that to be a very compelling video.
Yeah, and I noticed it at the time, too, because I'm, like, kind of looking as I'm walking down the stairs, and I'm like, what was that? And I, like, look out of my camera, and I don't see anything, and I go back to my camera, and I can kind of still see this fog, and we'll post, like, the full video. You can even see as I make it to the bottom of the stairs, I, like, turn around and look back, and I'm like, I think I just saw something.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know, that's weird that, like, I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I could see it through my camera.
Right, like visually, it's a normal spot. There's nothing that logically would make sense for there to be a fog or...
Right, because I will say, like, which is what I thought about at the time, is there is this, like, panel that kind of has a glare to it, and I thought, well, maybe it was just, like, the light hitting that painted panel weird, but, like, no, it's clearly, like, a fog that kind of shapes and dissipates. I don't know.
Yeah, like, if it had been just, like...
And it's in, like, a human shape. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's not
not like a circle or a...
Right.
Like horizontal.
Yeah, and it doesn't just stay stagnant. It seems to be moving
like
forward.
It's walking.
Yeah. So that...
I don't know. And
that was, like, the first, like, legit evidence we've ever gotten. So
yeah.
It was very exciting.
Yeah, we were so excited. Like, when we got back to our hotel, like, and I was just looking through stuff, and we probably spent 30 minutes.
We did. We were like, go back forward.
Slow-mo.
I texted so many people and sent it to them. I was like, look what we got. It's a ghost.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing, too. I was like, just look at this. Tell me what you see. I won't tell you what I see, but there's something, right? There's totally something.
Right. Yeah. And I even, like, when we got, like, back to Kansas City, I was like, different friends, I was like, just watch this video and tell me what you think. And there was only one person that was like, I don't know. Most people I watch, and even, like, my friend Katie, who's not really, she doesn't really care about ghosts, and she even was like, oh my God, like, that's pretty compelling.
I showed some people and they were just like, that's cool. And I show people, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Don't even pretend for me. That's fine. Whatever.
But it is exciting because I think visual stuff is the hardest to capture of the paranormal. So
Yeah.
I love that was actually one of our first things that we got.
That's
I think
cool.
Emily mentioned in our third episode, we have recorded things a little out of order.
Yeah.
So this was our first paranormal investigation. We actually did this one before Glore and Lone Jack.
This was back in the olden days.
Yeah.
We hadn't like fully...
we were dipping our toes in.
We hadn't like committed to like investigations being a solid part of this at that time. So we'd had it in our heads like, oh, we'll do some EVPs. And we did do an EVP in our bed and breakfast because we somehow, without even planning it.
Yeah, I think it's just like the universe just calls to us.
We like just booked a room. This was completely random too, because I remember we met up at a coffee shop and we're like, we need to work on this podcast. We need to get it going. So we were just sitting there and you're like, oh, what if we do Pythian Castle? That's close. We can do a day trip. Oh, what if we just book a room at this Airbnb? It's really close. And then I was like, oh, let's get a reservation for dinner. We literally just spontaneously were like,
Booked a trip. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just happened to book the one room that is the most haunted at that B&B.
Yep, the Rosen room.
Yep, at Walnut
Basically,
Street
it was
in-
just based on price.
Right. And then we're like, oh, it's haunted by a woman who
I think
just...
so. Like the original owner's wife, I believe,
Yeah.
haunts that room.
Yeah, and she like just... People have reported like waking up and just seeing a woman just standing over the bed staring. And I'm like, wonderful. That's great.
Yeah, I know. I did wake up a couple times in the night, and I was like, I
Yeah.
kept my eyes closed. I'm like, I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I'm
I
not
had
looking.
a hard time going to sleep. I was like, you can do it. You can do it. Sleep.
Yeah, we did do, and like you said, we did do like a 17-minute, I think, EVP session.
We did.
There, and
We did that, and then we recorded ourselves this horribly angled video of us eating Taco Bell on the floor after Pythian Castle, and we're just like, this is good.
it is horribly angled because I'm so close to the camera. Like I look like way bigger. Like,
And I'm just like hunched over like this little
Farther.
goblin just eating Taco Bell.
it is an old building. That's like every time the air conditioner turned on, like the lights would flicker, and it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, oh
It's
no,
a ghost.
no, it's just electricity.
And the bathroom was really cool. Like it was like,
It had like the original sink and stuff.
I was so scared every time I went in there though. I was like, she's gonna get me.
Well, because there was like a big mirror.
Uh-huh.
Mirrors freaked me out.
Me too. It's not just the reflection.
Yeah. Because I think that... Because wasn't one of the stories was like a guy had seen someone behind him in the mirror?
That must have been it, because there were a ton of mirrors in that room too. And every time I looked in one, I was like, this is it. This is when I'm going to get murdered by a ghost. It's going to see me in the mirror and pull me in. I'm done for. It's because
And then I'll be in jail because I'll have no logical
You're like, why did you
explanation.
do it? Why did you kill her?
I didn't. Where's the body? It went in the mirror.
It's because we had to share another goddamn queen-size bed.
I know, Emily's probably... Well, and this was the first trip, thank God, that I wasn't sick. Because I'm pretty sure I was, like, snoring the last 2 times she shared because I was sick. And I don't know, I might have still snored that one. But I was like... It was the first trip I wasn't sick.
Woohoo! She did it.
I did it.
Now the next time we go on a spooky trip, we'll see if we...
Can actually... Well, hey, when we went to Nashville, we each had our own bed.
Yay.
Yay. That's
did.
the only highlight of that trip.
That and... Yeah.
Yeah, anyways.
That mimosa flight was okay.
Yeah.
That was the one time I got a buzz in all of
I
Nashville.
know, yeah. It's kind of interesting. I went on a bachelorette party to Nashville and drug Emily with me, and we didn't get drunk.
All I got was trauma from having a chicken sandwich lunch cost me $100.
Yeah.
I still have
And
flashbacks.
an hour wait in line. But I do like Nashville. There's a lot of fun haunted places. I know we were so close to the Bell Witch Cave, but we didn't have a vehicle.
Oh, but then you
Oh.
almost went without me.
I know.
Kira.
See, this is another thing, the universe
Yeah.
like interfering. So yeah, my mom and I then went it's funny. I'd never been to Nashville my 34 years of life, and I've went twice in 3 months. But my mom had a work conference, and I went with her. And on our drive back, we were going to go to the Bell Witch Cave, and I was like, sorry, Emily, but like...
I was so mad. I'm like, I want to go there so bad. And you're like, we can't go. We're on the bachelorette party. I don't want to leave people that long. I'm like, fuck that. I want to go see the haunted witch cave.
And so then so as my mom and I are driving, it is like torrential downpouring that day. And so my mom, and like you have to walk outside, and we're like, I don't think this is a good idea. So I still haven't been. So Emily and I will have to go.
I won.
Or Emily will go without me now.
True. Get my revenge. Because you had every intention.
I did. I'm a mean friend.
Yeah. Okay. Who are we talking about?
I know. I'm like, we have spent the last 10 minutes not talking about Pythian Castle.
Okay, so we were talking about the B&B. Oh, okay. So that was like our first attempt at being actual ghost hunters.
Yeah, but so I think us catching this, apparition probably really got us like, we should just be ghost hunters.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, you're right. I think that was. And we're like, oh, that actually happened.
Like if I can capture something with 75 other people around me.
Yeah. Well, you've got the ghost juju.
Or I think you might have the ghost juju.
I don't know.
And I'm just there to capture it.
Yeah, I guess I'm the one that got bit by something, potentially, and maybe they just hate me.
Food for thought.
That's why I ignore them now. I'm like, was that something? Nope. Everything's fine here.
Well, an interesting thing about Pythian is that it's built from Carthage stone, which is a very porous form of limestone. So, if you're believing that...
Ghost rocks?
Yeah, that, limestone absorbs memories and ghost energy and all that. I mean, Pythian the whole thing is built of it, so...
Yeah, it could be a haunted rock. Because, like, isn't the idea that Carthage limestone doesn't just like conduct the energy, it also like traps it. So in theory, any spirit that could have encountered Pythian is trapped there. It's kind of like Haunting on Hill House a little bit, where like the house just suctions all the spirits that are there and keeps them trapped.
Which actually plays into, I think this is going into your section, but like there's like all the types of ghosts at Pythian Castle, which also maybe plays into it being like the Haunted Mansion ride. Because it's got, I'll let you talk about it. I've talked enough.
You done with your history?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know, I'm getting more condensed.
Oh, I'm sad.
Oh, well, the next episode, I'll have 17 pages of notes again.
Oh, good. Okay, so yeah, like we said, Pythian Castle, it has, like, the best way to describe the spirits that people talk about there, they're just, like, characters. And honestly, like, I could just condense Pythian Castle having a big character down to just one ghost. And it's my favorite, and that's Mr. Boots. Mr. Boots. And there's really, like, no history behind this ghost. Or like, oh yes, Mr. Boots, he's actually Eugene Fitzgerald,
the founder or something. No?
Yeah, no, it's just that he's Mr. Boots because people report hearing boot steps when they're in the steam tunnels in the basement, and they're like, Mr. Boots.
Well, let's give him a name because we don't actually know who and what he is.
There's just ghost boot steps in this, and a lot of the like really strong reports seem to be happening kind of in the steam tunnel basement area, which I guess makes sense. And I guess when I say stronger, it's just Mr. Boots has a name.
Yep.
And he's special. So for some reason, my head has like decided that Mr. Boots tap dances. Every time I picture him, I just picture this guy in just like a suit with a top hat, and he's just dancing away in the steam tunnels.
When we go do our private investigation there, can I bring my tap shoes?
Yes, and like, Mr. Boots,
I'm here to dance with you.
We need to get, I don't know what it's called, one of those devices that like the dot thing that gives the little skeleton figures. We need to get that, and you can dance. And we can see if Mr. Boots is just like jamming out next to you.
I don't know if I would find that really cool or terrifying.
Let's just go with cool.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't tell you at the time. They're like, keep dancing, Kayla.
Dance,
Dance, dance, dance.
dance, monkey, dance.
And then when you're done, you'll be like, so
You had a partner.
there were 5 ghosts dancing with you.
Which could play into, they had dances there,
did.
in the ball. I don't know. Maybe there are people still dancing.
Maybe that should be our goal for next time. Get
yeah.
that and get a ghoul dance party going. What if we bring that DDR game?
Yes.
Just set it up on a projector screen in the basement and be like, okay, guys,
Let's have a party.
So there's Mr. Boots. When we were on the tour, our guide also mentioned another ghost that I don't know if it's Mr. Boots or if it's somebody who's just down there or if it's another ghost I'll talk about later. But this one ghost apparently really doesn't like super chatty women. And he's in the past, I think he was pinch and pull hair sometimes. I remember hearing them talk about a ghost that would do that in the steam tunnels.
Yep.
If you talked a lot. Because I remember thinking, I was like, I'll be quiet. Because sometimes I do get a little chatty on these things and I start getting nervous. And I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. Like right now. But they played for us an EVP of one of their one of their tour groups that had been through previously, and there was a teenage girl who was talking a lot, and then you just hear this they said it was a spirit. They just hear this voice going,
Yeah.
just like, come on, shut up. Which I found super funny thinking about now, because that is Kayla on any group ghost tour we have ever been in. That is Glore Psychiatric Museum era Kayla.
Maybe we just need to do privates
I think
from
so.
now on, because I always thought I was a patient person. I don't think I am.
I thought I was impatient until I went on that one tour with you, and I'm like, they're annoying, but it's funny, and you're just like, I'm not cute. They need to die.
It's the nice, quiet ones you have to watch out for. Which ones?
Yeah. I've learned a lot about you working on this podcast.
I think
Just gonna leave it with that.
it's kind of ominous. I've learned a lot about you. Anyways.
Yeah, so we've got Kayla, Kayla's ghost down there. I've also heard stories, and that's the thing with that's the thing with Pythian is there are stories. There are several, but they don't seem to be all told everywhere. There's not a single consistent narrative outside of Mr. Boots. He's the one spirit that lasts every time I hear somebody talk about Pythian. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's kind of gets a little bit murky. Who specifically is there, as in the character ghost. But we've got Mr. Boots, Grumpy Ghost, and then we have another story of a spirit in the steam tunnels that's aggressive and oppressive, and people who interact with this one say that they feel those feelings of aggression and anger. And rumors and stories say that this ghost potentially, when he was alive, abused the children the orphan children who lived at Pythian. So I'd prefer if that ghost didn't exist and none of that was a thing, but that's another one of the stories specifically in the steam tunnels. Because of course, why wouldn't we have a bunch of ghosts just lurking in the creepiest place in the...
Do you think, I just had this thought, because it's a steam tunnel, that there's water. Plus pipes are, metal, are they just conductive in their own ways? I don't know, I'm just...
Perhaps.
Spitballing on the spot.
But if we're going with the water thing, a lot of things have water in them. So
yeah, that's true. Maybe we just stick with the limestone.
Yeah. Speaking of one thing I didn't mention, with the pipes, is knocking on the pipes is very common. So a lot of people, when they're doing investigations, they'll knock on the steam tunnel pipes and do the da 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 da, and then see if somebody will
knock back.
Do the da da. So that's whenever we do, because we will go do the private investigation. I really want to set the challenge, even though I know once we're there I won't want to do it, but I want us each to go down those tunnels by ourselves.
Yep.
I think we have to.
I know, we would have to.
Yeah. if we can go back to that one restaurant we went to and just pregame a little bit, and then go down there immediately.
Yeah.
Because I will need fake courage.
Yeah, same.
But then that's also bad, because if we start running, and
It's a pretty narrow tunnel. Like,
Yeah.
I think running is a really bad idea.
like I run and then I just bounce off the wall and then fly into a pipe, and they're like, "Oh, what's happening?" Like, Emily's dying. She got drunk and then she ran down a dark steam tunnel.
I'm too scared to go get you. You're gonna
Are
have
you
to.
okay?
Are you okay? Crawl.
Crawl. Then you hear Mr. Boots slowly just
Just tapping away.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
So that's the steam tunnel. And then there is another ghost I like a lot. I also don't know if this one had a name, and this could be the grumpy ghost that's hanging out with Mr. Boots and Creepo. But there was in the basement area, like we mentioned, that kind of really big open, like maze labyrinthine area. There's this little room blocked off by like a wrought iron gate, and it has this purple light just flashing on and off inside. So we went over and peeked in this room, and it's just an open, dark,
No windows
room with a little chair in it. And we were like, oh, that's weird. And then we found out later that the castle staff had essentially like gifted that room to the spirit of who they say is like an angry elderly man. I think they'd done like an EVP session or a spirit box session where they kind of had gathered that there was an old man there and he was angry and a little disoriented. And he'd get very upset at people who entered the basement area. So they gave him this room and were like, nobody go in there. If you go in there, he's very aggressive. He might attack you. And then they put a strobe light.
Yeah, like that's not gonna aggravate.
They're like, enjoy your space. Hope you don't have a seizure.
There's also, like, which we haven't talked about, this massive rock troll
Yeah.
outside that room, too.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's a huge gargoyle, like, it's this very Haunted Mansion vibes.
There was one spot, like we just left the main prison cell area, and there's this big open stairway. And then at the end of it, like it's a pretty wide area, like a hallway, not a stairway. And at the end of it, there's just this gargoyle lurking in the dark, and they're like, what the fuck is that?
How'd they even get that down there?
I don't know.
See, the rock guy, it's massive.
That is a good question.
It's massive. We'll post pictures so you guys can
Think about that. They just
see
built
what we're
them.
talking about. but-
They got a sculptor and they had him work down there. Like, we need a gargoyle and a troll.
Yes, that's what this place needs.
That's exactly the aesthetic we're going for.
Yeah, I'd love to get a hold of that place and actually like bring it back to not its prison former glory, but I don't know.
Bring it back. Everyone who's ever annoyed me, I'm locking them in the basement of Pythian Castle.
But yeah, just remove the kind of silly aspects.
Now, when you
but-
say former glory, you're going to be like, boys and girls will never see or talk to each other ever again. This half is for the boys, this half is for the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Really, former glory is a terrible word
See, if
because
I
I don't
took
think
it-
it ever was glory.
Yeah. If I took it, it'd be like completely like you're walking onto a set of Haunted Mansion. I would go full Haunted
Oh, you'd go
Mansion.
full. I think I'd just turn it into like a medieval castle. I'd just go full castle theme.
That'd be cool too, but I'm like, I want people to wonder if a vampire and or a witch live here. I probably wouldn't do like gargoyles and trolls. That's kind of like confusing mix of lore.
Yeah, because this rock troll, it looks like from Frozen 2. Like,
Yeah, like, is it
so-
gonna start singing?
Yeah.
Tell me about love and how I'm a fixer-upper or something. I don't know. Okay, so those are those ghosts. We keep getting, we're very like, let's talk about this for 10 minutes today. Like, this is related, right?
We thought this would be one of our shorter episodes. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
We're just like, blah, 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 blah.
But those are the basement ghosts.
Those are the basement ghosts. So the ghosts not in the basement. They're a little less like, it's not so much like Mr. Boots is here and he tap dances or all those things, or there's a grumpy old man. It's almost more like just, this one feels more like imprints almost to me. Like,
Yeah.
So we go to like that theater like Kayla talked about. So they have the theater, and it was also where they would hold funerals. So it's the same thing. There's a stage back there, and all the chairs. They're kind of like pew-like chairs almost.
Yeah, they have the body up there on the stage for the funeral.
So there are spirits that are seen there fairly often, and it's typically men dressed in uniform. Sometimes American soldiers, sometimes not. And a lot of them are just kind of seen as if they were watching something on the stage. So it's almost like they're doing whatever they would have done when they were there, when they were living.
Like it's just replaying a scene from the past, basically.
Yeah. Because, I know our tour guide, and we'll see if we can find it. There was a very cool image he shared of, it looked like kind of from the waist up, of a man in full uniform just looking at the stage. Is very, very interesting. Whether it was real or not, it was cool.
It was a super clear photo. It was pretty crazy.
So there is that. And that's kind of what a lot of the spirits there. We have that happening in the theater, and then the ballroom, which is where they would have like big bands come and they would host dances to kind of help entertain the troops. So when we were there, our tour guide just played a snippet of like big band music to try to almost make it like a trigger object to get the spirits interacting or something, which was just really kind of eerie, just all of us standing there with the music kind of filling that space, and just like, is something gonna happen? Is it not? Nothing did happen, but it was a really interesting idea to kind of like see if we could stir anything up.
Yeah, we might have to do something like that when we go back.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we should definitely, not when we're alone, but maybe together, and whoever we're with, when we're in the steam tunnels, we need to just talk nonstop.
And see if we get an exasperated sigh.
See if we get sigh or push or smack or something.
I think I'd rather have a sigh than get smacked, but you know.
We'll have to bring somebody who we know talks more than us and not tell them.
Oh.
And just be like, yeah, no, go for it.
Yeah.
Just keep talking.
Yeah.
Has to be female, though, so. And we're accepting applications now. Do you want to get slapped by a ghost in dark tunnels?
Maybe this is the start of, we've toyed around the idea in the future, like us hosting paranormal investigations. Maybe this is the start.
Yeah.
You want to come with us?
We're not actually doing this to give you a good experience. We just want somebody else to get murdered by a ghost.
Right.
So,
yeah, we're just going to put other people in danger.
Yeah. Like, we've joked about just bringing a guy to Sally House because, like, the spirit there, the demon, allegedly reacts more to men. So we're like, what if we just bring a guy and we don't tell them? And we're like, hey, can you sit in the nursery by yourself for a little bit? If you feel any burning on your back,
it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about it. In fact, it's good. Wait for more. So there, yeah, those are, we have a lot of just kind of soldier, prisoner, ghosts going on. We also have near the dorms where the children were I don't know why kept was the word I wanted. Kept seems wrong. Where they
lived.
Yeah,
slept.
where the children's dorms where there are ghosts of children. I know that when we were on the tour, they were talking about how a lot of them kind of are very playful, and they also kind of reach out for sense of comfort, and they're just, they're kids. They were kids living there, and they're unfortunately passed away while they were there, and they just kind of are still in there.
So might capture giggling or just
giggling
toys
and
moving.
they interact with toys, so those are kind of the main entities that...
Yeah, so we got a little bit of everything. You got kind of you're just footsteps, you've got children, you've got soldiers, you've got evil, kind of.
Yeah, evil, potentially, but they're very much just... Like I said, there doesn't seem to be a single main narrative. It's not like...
I think it's a Carthage Doge.
This ghost in this... Yeah, maybe it is just a collection of different spirits, and I don't know.
We'll have to find out more when we go and there's not 70 other people with us.
Right, that's going to be a big thing, is just to try to go back and actually do a full investigation where we can record audio and actually hear it and all of that. But yeah. When I was doing my research and, obviously talking about the different types, I kind of got off on a little tangent. Surprise, us on a tangent.
What?
Never. We're so focused. But I got on a tangent and I found my new favorite word, which is ghost lore, which essentially is just any kind of folklore that applies specifically to ghosts and ghost stories. So
Sounds right up our alley.
right, like basically everything we've talked about so far has been ghost lore. So it's fun. So part of ghost lore is sort of like the ghost typology, I guess you could say. And just like, oh, what's this type of ghost versus this type, which is just a very interesting thing. Like, how are there even different types of ghosts? I don't understand. Why is that a thing? So I wanted to talk about one type of ghost because it kind of made me think a little bit about Mr. Boots in particular, but some of the other activity in Pythian, just because there seems to be more tangible interaction with the real world, with like tapping and sounds and voices and all of that. So I'm going to talk about poltergeists today.
Ooh.
Yeah. And what do you know about poltergeists coming into this?
Well, that's the one where it's like all the physical stuff, things being thrown, or the lights turning off and on, or that's like the physical aspect of ghosts.
Right. Yeah. So that is a big part of it. So poltergeist comes from the German words poltern, which means to make sound and or to rumble, and Geist, which is literally spirit or ghost. So yeah, poltergeist is a noisy ghost or a noisy spirit. So yeah, that fits what you were just saying. So stories of poltergeist actually date back to like ancient Roman history. Like that's,
Heyo.
Yeah, that's your peeps.
That's my peeps.
Kayla's an ancient Roman. But I would be very interested to like research more to see if we can find specifically the first time anybody told a story about a poltergeist.
Ooh, it's exciting. I can brush off that classics degree and I do some research
There you
on
go. Yeah, we should do like
Roman.
an ancient ghosts episode. We can each pick an ancient ghost story to talk about.
I'm sure it'd be really fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, ancient Romans, they're the first people that kind of brought up the premise of a poltergeist. And as their name suggests, poltergeists are known for causing knocks and bumps and crashes, and as a poltergeist haunting progresses, they can manifest as auditory, like they will speak, they will make noises, and eventually they can form full-bodied apparitions, which we did see one.
Ooh, yes.
So
yes, we
there
did. So
is
that was
that.
a poltergeist.
Could have been. I mean, not any ghost that, like, just because it has a full-bodied apparition doesn't mean it's a poltergeist. But when you put it in combination with some of the other things that happen at Pythian, that is interesting. So it's just something to think about there. But poltergeist hauntings typically can seem a lot more random than, let's just say, a normal haunting, because the activity can just surge, and it'll surge without any seeming like reason or cause, and then it'll just subside, and it could last like a few weeks. You just suddenly have this poltergeist activity, and then nothing happens for several years, and it just for some reason activity goes crazy. And there are actually a couple different theories behind like what a poltergeist could be. Like, what maybe it is just a single entity, or some people speculate that a poltergeist is actually several ghosts kind of teaming up and using their combined energy to make this very palpable, very obvious activity. So it's almost like a game night in the afterlife. Like, what if the ghosts in Pythian all just have this one day, once a year, they're like, all right, it's the Pythian Ghost Convention, everybody gather, let's move some shit, let's scare some people, and then I'll see you again next year. So I kind of hope that's it, actually.
I really like that visual.
I do too. And I also like, can we like tentatively schedule that for ourselves? Yeah. Like, can we schedule poltergeist activity for...
Do you think they like pull cards too? Like, oh, you get to be Mr. Boots this time. Oh, you get to be the grumpy old guy in the dungeon.
Oh my god, but what if like there's so many ghosts in Pythian that there's like one head ghost, we'll just say it's Mr. Boots, and he like puts everybody into little group project groups, and everybody's like, god damn it, I'm with Becky again.
But that's the exasperation.
Worst. It is just like, oh, I always get the worst partner, and I go down these goddamn steam tunnels, and I have to scare these annoying people.
That's me.
That's you. That's gonna be you when we get to do our poltergeist activity
In the afterlife.
Yeah, it's good to have things to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm a planner, so I gotta plan what I'm gonna do.
Like, not many people plan it for after they're dead. Usually it's just right up until that point. But we're like, no, we've already got a book club, we've got a game night. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, so there was another theory that's interesting, and this kind of focuses around the trend of poltergeist activity seeming to happen around teenage girls, like particularly like once puberty starts hitting and hormones go crazy, which I think now that I'm saying it is like, this is just another reason to be like, women are crazy. They're so crazy that they fucking move things with their mind.
Yeah, did men come up with this theory?
Probably. I do like the concept. Like, I wish that puberty gave me like telekinetic powers. That would be great. But it didn't.
Yeah.
Nothing good.
As far as you know. No.
Okay, I was trying. Nothing happened.
Well, you're well past puberty.
I know. Maybe menopause.
Maybe we'll look forward to it in 20 more years.
Maybe that's when the telekinetic powers come in. You know, I'd even take psychic. Like something.
Yeah, it'd be sweet.
But I didn't get that. But that is one of the theories that
is interesting.
that all the trauma of being a woman can make you tap into psychic energy and
Well, your
manipulate
emotions
the
as you're
world
going through
around you.
puberty, I mean, they are really high.
That's true. I do think maybe it's just like, it's just a thing that men will take any opportunity to be like, witch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, it's just PMS. But that's another theory. I much prefer the ghost game
Banding
night.
together.
Yeah. But that's just a very brief overview of a ghost type. I think I want to do this more. I kind of want, like, I don't really actually know how many types there are to go to. I might have to end up going into ghosts, like, around the world and different types of folklore. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be, you could compile like a whole book, I guess, of the ghost types.
What I want to do, though, if this becomes a segment and we ever have, like, a video version of our podcast, I want to pay somebody to draw us, like, so you know how Pokemon did the "Who's that Pokemon?"
Yeah.
I want that with ghosts.
That would be so fun.
Like, who's that
That'd be
ghost?
so cute.
It's Poltergeist! So that's what I'm asking for.
I love it.
We can give it some time, but, you know, once we're there, I need it to happen.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, so that's it. I'm not saying Mr. Boots is a poltergeist. I just am saying that I am a major component to the multiple ghosts, and they get together and they do some poltergeist shit thing. That's Pythian for me.
Pythian is a good contender for that,
Yeah.
because it's an interesting place, and we're excited to go back someday.
Yeah, I am so ready to go and actually, like, I think that place is going to be so much scarier without all of the people.
Yeah,
Like,
for
it's
sure.
spooky, and I kind of, like,
sure.
a couple times I'd linger behind the group. Like, I remembered I lingered behind kind of in the big jail cell row, and I went into one, and I was like, nope, done with that. That was my 1 second of bravery, and now it's gone forever.
And now you think we're gonna go down
No,
the
I
steam
am going to go
tunnel
down
by ourselves?
Can I hide a flask? I'm like, just take a chunk.
You don't need to
No.
hide it. You can.
Maybe that's what I'll have to do. Like, why is your friend, like, so crazy? Oh, she's drunk.
She's drunk, that's why. That's Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri. You can email us at podcast.remnants@gmail.com if you want to give us ideas or your own stories, or, I don't know, you just want to say hi.
Yeah, if you just want to say hi, that's great. Please leave us a review wherever you listened. That would be super nice.
Yes, ratings and reviews are going to be the best way for more people to find us. I think especially with Apple, like, the more reviews and ratings there are, they'll, like, kind of, it won't be so hard to find us.
Yeah, it's still a little bit like an Easter egg hunt to get our podcast to come up, because you have to definitely look up Remnants Paranormal. Then sometimes you have to have the podcast on there, so tell
everyone about us, and spread the word, and follow us on Instagram at Remnants Pod, because that's where we'll post. We especially now, we've gotten better at, like, you know, filming us and, you know, sharing that from our investigation. So that's where you can find some of our fun stuff. And
Yeah, and definitely make sure to look at that video we talked about if you haven't yet.
yes,
We want to know what you think. We think it's pretty damn cool, though.
it is. And yeah, we also have a link tree on our Instagram, so you can go to our website. Is very much a work in progress, but that's also where we post like our show notes and links to our sources and maybe some articles or other stuff that we mentioned. So you can check out our little work in progress website.
Yeah. The more people that look, the more pressure we'll have to make it better.
Yeah, then we're like, oh, maybe we'll actually pay for a domain.
Yeah, like, damn it, I guess we got to do this now.
Yeah.
But it'll be a good, like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, it'll be a good thing. So.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for listening to our first
Thank
5
you.
episodes. We are so excited, and
We can't wait to see you in the next one and see what cool things we'll have to share for episode 6.
yeah. So see you in 2 weeks.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
Bye.
Bye.